bite right off the bat. Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to another episode of the Tin Fin Show. Tin's under there somewhere. She's hiding out in the shade. It's like 82 degrees, and I thought, man, maybe we can get her out here because the humidity's not so bad. It's supposed to get up to 86. We had a little bit of rain come through this morning. There's a big tournament going on, and we got a few hours to fish, but I'm going to be throwing around a frog today. I'm going to kind of focus on trying to get a frog bite and maybe a punching bite. I just got some frogs from Copper Red Baits. This is the loud mouth edition. It's a new frog to me. I fished their wave frog before, which this is their wave frog. Really good frog. If you're looking to try out something different, this is definitely worth the cause. It's got this little cup underneath here. It does splash, but it walks really well. And the loudmouth edition has a deeper cup. It's more of a popping frog, and I just got these the other day, so I'm going to go out and sling them around, kind of see how they work. Good looking frog. You know, the wave frog, I've caught several fish on it, and it's really soft, really buoyant, walks really easy. It's got a good hook. It's an all around good bait. So I'm real curious to see how the loudmouth edition works. And you can kind of show these frogs side by side here. There's a significant difference in the cup. So this is the loudmouth edition from the side here, and then this will be the wave frog. They both got that kind of pointed head, but I mean, look at the notch, the cutout on this. So this loudmouth edition is definitely going to pop quite a bit more. I'm gonna tie a couple different colors on, get out there and see if we can get a bite or two. I don't have much time, but mainly just want to get a couple bites and just kind of see how the frog works. So here we go. Snatches one up. Right in that shade, brothers. Right in that shade. That's nice. That's a good bite. There you go, man. When they decide to hit it, they hit it good. Just fishing this little shade line. And it's been slow out here. But, you know, we still managed to get bites. Decent little fish. It's fun. That's that meatball color, I guess. It's just kind of, it's got the brown on it, a little bit of red. That little orange head, so you can see it at a distance. That's one thing that's cool about a frog, is if you can get one with a lot of times they make kind of that Tweety bird color. It's got the yellow head. It's a black frog. That's really just so you can see it at a distance. I mean, the fish is seeing this. We're seeing this. So anytime you can have like a lighter colored top, it's a lot more visible for the fisherman, and that allows you to see that fish or that frog from a distance, especially if they blow up on it. Sometimes you can't really tell if they took it down or not. If your white or your orange or your yellow disappears, that means he's got it, and you gotta set the hook. You gotta set the hook. There he is, back there in that shade again, man. All right, a couple things I do to a frog when I first get it is I check the hook angle. This one here on the Copper Red is perfect. If I feel like it's too far in towards the body, I'll take some pliers and bend it out just like a 1/16 of an inch. It doesn't take much. There's a fine line between getting enough bite to get the fish, and then too much is gonna grab grass. So this one's perfect. The next thing I'll do is, that skirt's a little too long for me. Most frogs come with a really long skirt. Some people like them long. I like them a little bit shorter, and just kind of a rule of thumb is to take that skirt and pull it up to about the eyeball. Here's the eyeball on the frog. So that's a good spot to kind of cut it off, and that's what I'll do is I'll just take these Cuda scissors. These are super handy. If you don't have any of these, they cut braid, they cut skirt material. They're super handy, and I've had these in the boat for a while. They do not rust, but I'll just trim this off about the eyeball, And we're gonna make sure this stuff gets in the boat. Don't want to throw it in the water. So that's about right. And then you can just hold the frog up like this and cut it to length on this side. So that looks pretty good. Something I've been doing the last couple of years that really gives a lot of freedom to the frog is tying a loop knot, just a non-slip loop knot. For people that are new to trying to walk the dog or walk the frog, this is a great way to learn. And if you've been doing it for a while, it's super easy on your wrist. One of the things with walking a frog is, or any kind of topwater bait, it's hard on your wrist, man. It's hard on your elbows and hard on your wrist. This loop knot gives your bait maximum freedom, and you have to, it just requires minimal effort to do what you want it to do. So just tie an overhand knot like that, just your basic granny knot, and then you're gonna take your main line and run it through the line tie on your frog. And braid is a little bit tricky. It wants to slide tight. It's a lot easier with fluorocarbon, but we're gonna attempt to do it. So you got a pretty good little overhand knot. You wanna leave it kind of open so you've got room. So just take your main line, I'm all over the place, and run it back through that loop you've created from the overhand knot. And we're gonna be left with this situation right here. So you wanna cinch it up just slightly, not too much, and then pull that loop closer to the line tie. The closer you get to the line tie, the smaller your loop will actually be, and you don't want a really big loop. It's not too big a deal in a frog, but if you've got treble hook baits, that loop will swing around and catch the treble hooks. So we're left with this right here. Now just kind of pinch that knot, and we're gonna wrap our main line 4 times. We're actually gonna wrap that tag around the main line like 4 times. So that's 2, 3, and we're at 4 right there. Now we're just gonna take our tag. See that little hole that we got? We got both of those loops right there. We're just gonna run it back through that. And then we're gonna grab the tag. We're left with that. I'm gonna moisten it. And then I wanna pull the tag close to the line tie to make that loop a little smaller. And then we'll just kind of pull it tight. And there you go, you got a loop knot. Now ideally, I would want the loop just slightly smaller than that. Not much, but slightly smaller. That'll work. We're gonna go with that. Just trim it off. I leave a little bit of excess because sometimes braid will slip, so we're just gonna trim it off like that. There we go, little loop knot. That's gonna allow super amount of freedom. It just makes a big difference when you're fishing grass and you get in those little holes. You can pop this thing and it really just works in place. So trim the skirt down, bend the hooks up if possible, or if you need to be, tie a little loop knot. As far as equipment, I like to throw 50-pound braid. Some people throw 65, but 50-pound braid has been good for me. 7.4 to 7.6, heavy or extra heavy, depending on the brand of rod that you use. But you want something with a little bit of tip so you can work that frog, but you do need some balls to get that thing out of the grass when you hook up on the end of a bass. So I'm gonna go out there and get in this wind, and we got a little bit of breeze out here. I'm gonna try to stay in the wind, and maybe some of the baits pushed up against the grass, and we can get it right. As far as colors, this is called, I don't even know what this is called. I think it's called meatball. White, black, brown's a good color. And actually I'm seeing some dragonflies in the grass that some of them have a blue color to them. They make a color called Papa Smurf that would work. I don't have it in this popping style frog, but they have a red one, and I'm gonna probably tie that red one on here in a little bit because I am seeing some red dragonflies mixed in. Good fish. Hit it right when it hit the water too. That fish ate it. It's a good fish. Look at that. Sucker is built right. The old frog right down the gullet. Dang, that was awesome. Yeah, that's a good fish, folks. That's fun, little copper red frog. It's a good frog, man. I like it. I'm digging it. Not the best day to be frog fishing, but just keep throwing it and you come across one. That fish was not getting off. 4-0. It's a perfect kind of grass right here. You got a nice solid, like kind of cheesy, nasty, mossy mat, and then you've got, man, look at them busting out there. It's a good thing about frog, man, is you can work it just like a spook out in open water, or you can throw it around the grass and in the mats. But like I was saying, you got nice chunky cheesy mat, and then you got this really pretty green stuff. It's out here closer to the edge, and that's typically what those fish will be sitting in. You got dragonflies. Dragonflies are always a good sign. You know, a lot of bluegill and stuff will feed on the dragonflies, and bass are feeding on the bluegill when they're up in this grass. So that just makes sense. Dragonflies attract bluegill, and bluegill attract bass. And finding the right kind of grass allows the bass to come up through that mat. Or, you know, it's not actually a mat. That's a mat over there, but it's harder for a fish to get up through that. That's more like, I mean, I would kind of punch a lot of that stuff. Actually, I kind of avoid it right now. I mean, I'm looking for this kind of pretty green stuff. It's a lot more healthy, and as long as there's plenty of it around, you're better off to go just kind of search that stuff. Bite. It crushed it right in that shade. This awesome. Kind of slid it up underneath that shade there, and I mean, I twitched it once and pow! It was fun. Oh, that has got to be the most heart-wrenching bite in the world. Your little frog's just sitting there, and we're covering water, and we're going a long time without bites. Water temp is 90 degrees, folks, and it's about, I don't know, 3 to 6 foot of visibility, depending where you are. We do have a north breeze, but most of my bites have been coming towards the back of some of these pockets, kind of out of the wind, and we're keen on shade, for sure. Rolled up on it. There ought to be one in here somewhere. Got some bait in the grass over here. There's some bluegills popping. There's shade. Get in here. Ha ha! Look at that. That fish was in. Ow, dang it. Took one for the team on that one. That fish was in like 6 inches of water. Oh, 10. I'm going 10 inches of water. Fish was in like 10 inches of water up underneath that shade. And there's a lot of bluegill roaming around here. It's been one of the things that I've been seeing when I'm getting bit. I am seeing some bluegill. And you know, the thing to do today is probably get out there and throw a moving bait. But man, it is fun to just keep a bait in your hand, like I said earlier, and get some bites. We are getting some bites. Hey, midday report. We are catching some fish, and Finley is camping out. What are you doing under there, Finn? You do not look very happy. She's just trying to get out of the sun. It's a little bit hot out here. I mean, it's not hot compared to what it has been, but it's still like mid 80s. And what we're doing, we are managing to get a few bites on that frog, and I'm having a blast, man. I'm just keeping that frog in my hand, covering water, keeping it simple, no front looker, just looking at the bank for the most part. And this is a perfect scenario right here. Just a little cut right here, shade, and there's going to be bluegill spawning back in this little pocket here. These are the kind of areas where I've been getting some bites, kind of high percentage areas. And like I said earlier, most of the fish are out deeper, but even though the water's 90 degrees, you're still able to catch some fish in, you know, less than 3 or 4 foot of water, which is pretty fun, man. That frog's working out great. Quickly becoming a fan of it, and this is what we're doing. Shade has been key. Shade has been key. Right kind of grass. I mean, this is like that nasty mossy stuff that, I'm not saying there's not any fish in it, but it's just really hard to fish. It gums up your hooks and stuff. But as you look over here, you're seeing this cleaner milfoil, and that's the kind of stuff that the fish are relating to up underneath these trees and stuff in the shade. Been getting some bites up underneath there, but we're just covering water, and most of our bites have been like in the back of these like pockets. Tried some main lake stuff, but it's pretty windy out there. So these kind of quiet areas, a little bit of shade, somewhat slick water, and bluegill have been a great combination. And I've been focusing, I mean, I threw the white frog for a little bit. Oh, there's the white frog, great looking frog. But this has been the one that's been getting me all the bites. And I think this is called I think it's called meatball. It's just that brown colored frog. I got a lot of confidence in the brown with the orange head. Just keeping it in our hand, 7'4", heavy rod, and just covering water, man. Covering water, about out of time. Dang. Another good one. That fish is back here nowhere. Got him. Not as big as I thought, but we did get him. Came back. Sometimes the best follow-up bait to a frog is a frog. It's a cool picture. Sucker came back and got it twice. He done messed up. It's fun. I mean, the hookup ratio seems to be pretty dang good. I don't think I've missed one that actually got it. So that's good. People that frog fish, you know, it's like, sometimes it's like, I don't know, like 3 out of every 10 on some days, but they're getting it pretty good. Skip's pretty good. And walks excellent. Very little effort. Got a little frogfish. Copper red frog. Didn't even see that fish bite. It just kind of, another one blew up over in the corner there. Turned my head and my line got tight. Ah, gotcha. Gotcha, little booty. Nice. That's a cool bite. I think I dragged him out from underneath that tree. He's in there. Go. It's fun, man. It's fun to get some shallow bites. Even though the water temperature is 90 degrees, still catching some fish in like 2 foot of water, basically. You know, cadence is super important with the frog, and every day it's different. Today, even though this is a popping frog, I have been popping it, but they've kind of been wanting it walked. And I'm just walking it around this grass, and if I get to a little hole in the cover, I'm just kind of pausing it out. And I've had several bites on the pause. Some days they want it really aggressive with a lot of like really hard pops. Some days they want just little subtle pops. Some days they want it walking really fast. Some days they want it just kind of steady. And some days they want like a twitch and a pause. So you just gotta get out there and see what's going on in the lake. You know, give it a while. Fish one way for 10 minutes and then another way for 10 minutes, and you get a bite, pay attention to what you're doing. Was it on the paws? Was it moving? Was it next to a piece of cover? Was it on the edge of the grass? Was it back in shade? Like, that's a perfect little spot right there, back in that shade. So these are all just little clues that you need to be paying attention to as you go through your day fishing the frog. There you go. There we go. There you go, folks. That fish ate it like it was supposed to. That's gonna wrap it up, man. We had fun out here, just throwing a frog. You know, the water's like 90 degrees, and most of these fish are coming in less than 2 foot of water. A little bit of wind, cold front day, and man, that is so much fun. That sun's probably in your eyes. I apologize for that, but it's just a good time. Keeping one rod in your hand, covering water. Shade was the deal around bluegill and kind of sparse grass for the most part. Thumbs up if you appreciate the content. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's a good frog, man. I don't know if Baitworks has them yet, but you know, support these small companies. Copper Red Baits, good guy. He's making some pretty cool frogs for sure. He's got a couple different styles. Get online, check them out, and if you're looking, try something a little bit different, definitely you won't be disappointed, man. I promise you. It's a good walking frog, super easy walking frog. Trim those legs down, tie that little loop knot. 7.4, 7.6 heavy rod is what you need. And man, just cover water. It is, every time one blows up, man, it is so exciting. Doesn't matter if it's like a 12-inch fish or 4-pounder. It is just absolute blast catching on a frog. So until next time.